transition to our co-host today, Susmit, who is a PhD student currently in the sport management, and he's also serving as a president of the Indian Students Association of Tallahassee. Susmit?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Yang, for this wonderful introduction. I would like to thank the CGE for providing us with this opportunity to co-host the International Coffee Hour. So with that being said, I have a small presentation which I would like to share with you all. Uh, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Yeah, now I can see. And if you don't mind to speak a little bit more since you're on the mask, so it's a little bit hard to catch your volume fully, but.
Sure. Yeah. Can you hear me now clearly? All right. So I would like to welcome you all to the virtual International Coffee Hour. So today, INSAT, Indian Student Association of Tallahassee, we have partnered with the Center for Global Engagement to co-host this coffee hour, featuring the Indian festival of Holi. So I would like to give you all a brief background and some of the things which our organization does. So as you all know, the name of our organization is Indian Students Association of Tallahassee. Our mission is to promote the Indian culture and to help the Indian students on campus. We preserve the Indian culture at FSU through individual and group activities by sort of organizing festivals, which helps the Indian students connect with their roots. In the previous semester, last semester, we co-hosted Diwali, the festival of Diwali. And today we would be celebrating the festival of Holi. We also assist the new incoming Indian students to sort of acclimate with the new surroundings and help them settle at FSU. So today's coffee hour features the Indian festival of Holi. So I would like to give you guys a brief background about this festival. So Holi is a major festival in India. It is celebrated on the day after the last full moon of the Hindu month of Falguna. So this year it would be celebrated on 28th of March, which is this Sunday. So Holi usually marks the transition, happy transition from harsh, dark winters to the brighter and the warmer springtime. So this festival celebrates Prahlada. So Prahlada was a prince dedicated to the worship of Vishnu, who is an Indian god. Prahlad's father and aunt opposed his religious faith and as a punishment made him sit in the middle of a raging bonfire. But it was Lord Vishnu who protected Prahlada and the prince did not burn. So bonfire sort of remains a part of holy rituals even today. However, the most striking aspect of the festival is the playing of bright colored powders and waters in enormous public celebrations, as was evident during the videos which you saw previously. So the colors mark both Prahlada's flickering bonfire as well as the bright colors which are associated with spring. So this was a brief background about Holi. So here are some of the glimpses of Holi celebrations. This festival is celebrated all around the world, and people usually enjoy and they play with colors. So today we have a cooking show and Tejas Nathu, who is a member of the Indian Student Association of Tallahassee, is a PhD student. He's doing his PhD in mathematics. He will be leading this show along with Chef Jesse and Yashika and Satyanarayanan. So with that being said, I would like to hand it over back to Yang.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for your presentation. And thank you for the introduction and the information provided over there. But I think we are all ready for welcoming to our new chef today.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tejas Nathu, and I'm a PhD student in the Department of Mathematics. Cooking is a personal hobby of mine, and I'm really glad to be here and sharing this recipe of suji laddu or semolina laddus. So this recipe is going to be slightly different, my own personal version of the recipe that is already shared on CG website or webpage. So I guess let's get started. So I'll first introduce you to the ingredients that I'm going to use. All right, before that, let me just say that laddu is a generic word for, you can say, dough balls. They are sweet and they are, it's a dessert. And this really goes well with the fact that tomorrow is Holi. So this is a particularly famous dessert which is usually eaten during the time of any festival. So let's get started. So here are the ingredients. So we have semolina or suji. You can easily find this in any Indian grocery store. All right, so this is suji, and the next ingredient that we're going to be using is ghee or clarified butter. Okay, again, this is easily available in any Indian store or even in Publix, stores like Publix as well, right? So this is a fairly generic ingredient, that's ghee or clarified butter. All right, I'm going to be using I'm going to use half a cup of this big cup of semolina, and for that I'm going to be using around 4 to 5 tablespoons of ghee. All right, let's move on. So the next ingredient is condensed milk. All right, so this is I'm going to be using one can or probably half can or 3/4 cans of this condensed milk. All right, so the sweetness is basically going to come from this condensed milk. All right, so I'm not going to use any additional sugar. So the sweetness is going to come from the condensed milk. All right, so let's move on. We then have nutmeg powder. All right, so I'll be using around half a teaspoon or 1 teaspoon of nutmeg powder. This really has a very strong. It's important that we don't use too much of this nutmeg powder. Okay, if you use a lot of nutmeg powder, it becomes bitter. All right. The next thing that we're going to use is some cashews. These cashews, you can warm these cashews in ghee. All right, so these are roasted cashews in ghee. And then you have raisins, and these raisins are also roasted in ghee. All right, and finally we have some cardamom, some ground cardamom, and then we have some milk which has some saffron. Right, so this is saffron milk, and that's about it. So these are all the ingredients that we're going to be using. So I think let me just start with the preparation. So all right. So I'm going to use a pan and a ladle, and I'm going to warm this pan, and I'll add some ghee in it. I'm going to add some ghee into it. And I'll let this ghee melt. Once this ghee melts, I'll add some semolina. So the idea is to roast the semolina in this ghee till it becomes brown in color, reddish brown.
So Susmit, is there any occasion that this dish is specially served, or in what context that you normally just have this dish at family?
Usually prepare this, as they just mentioned, this is like a very popular dessert, which is like prepared throughout like all over India. We prepare this on special occasions during festivals, so like during Holi, during Diwali. But yeah, you can prepare this on regular days as well. Very simple.
Well, actually, you know what? Every Indian mom is kind of expert in suji laddu. It's a very personal recipe for almost every household in India. I'm going to roast this semolina in this ghee till it becomes reddish brown in color. All right. So it takes about 10 minutes of stirring this. And we're not going to do that right now. Instead, I have already prepared, I already have with me semolina that is roasted. So you keep on doing this for about 8 to 10 minutes and you will have your roast semolina ready. And we already have some roast semolina ready with us. So I'm going to use that. I'll transfer this to a bowl. All right, so my pan is now preheated, and this is the semolina that I already have. Okay, so this is how it should look once you've roasted it. Okay, so you can see the change in the color, right? And this change in color is also marked, is also accompanied with a really strong fragrance. Okay, so that's the roasted semolina. So this part is done. I already have. All right, so let's continue. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to take very little ghee and I'm going to roast all the cashews and raisins. So very little.
So is there like certain cashews that you specifically adding in, or like pistachios and
You can
every
use
kind of nuts?
any dry fruits that you want. So you're free. That's completely up to us what dry fruits we want to use. So you can use pistachios, you can use almonds, and all kinds of dry fruits. Reduce the flame a bit. All right, since the pistachios were already roasted, so I don't need to spend too much time. I can straight away. Now what I will do is, okay, so what I'll do is, in this bowl itself, I'll add cardamom. Okay, so I'll add this cardamom into the roasted semolina. And I will add about a pinch of nutmeg, not more than that. let me give it a quick shake and mix this up in here. Once I'm done, I'll add all of this. Let's mix all of this. Okay, I'm going to mix all of this. Okay, so now that I've mixed it, I'm going to use this. Okay, now I'm going to use condensed milk, and this is where I'm going to use this condensed milk, and I'm going to keep this saffron milk with me here. So what happens is when I add this condensed milk, this is going to coagulate very fast. Okay, so just to provide some as you can see, this is coagulating very fast, very quickly. Okay. So I have a slurry now. Okay. So all that I need to wait is to let this slurry coagulate together, and slowly what will happen is it will start leaving the pan. When it starts leaving the pan, that's when we're done. It's important to keep on stirring this because we don't want any lumps in it. Okay. Slightly bit of this is almost ready now. So I'm just waiting for this to settle down. And you can see the flame is very low. And now it has, sort of started to form a dough on its own. Okay, so it's started to, so you can see it has started to leave the pan and started forming a dough. So the thing is, I'm going to let it settle down for 2 or 3 minutes, and once the texture is doughy enough to form balls. Okay? All right, so we're done. I'm going to switch off the flame. And so the last thing is to let it rest for a minute or two, and make sure it is cool enough so that we can start rolling the balls. Okay, so that's the whole idea. Okay. So once this settles down and it's cool enough so that we can put our hands into it and start rolling it into balls, that's the. Okay. So let's wait for a minute or two. I guess I'm going to need. Yeah. So I'm going to transfer this into this bowl.
So I was just talking to one of my colleagues, Gaurav, and he was saying that actually there's a different way of making this vary by regions, right?
That's right. That's right. So, almost everyone has, different recipes. I mean, you can do all kinds of things. So this particular, recipes is something that is, very simple and quick to do. So, so the thing is, I've let condensed milk do all the magic here. So there's no sugar syrup involved. There are some recipes which use sugar syrup as well. So there is a slight risk in that, in the sense that sugar syrup at times, it crystallizes and the ladoos become very hard. Okay. So with this particular recipe, the ladoos will not become very hard. Okay. So that's one. But there are so many recipes and so many things that you can do with it. This is just one of them. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. I want to take some ghee with me. So I'm going to apply some ghee on my palm. I'm going to apply some ghee on my palm. So that when I take this laddu, it does not stick on my hands. So you can take this laddu and you can start forming balls out of it.
I just have a really quick question. It probably very easy, but I'm just curious, is there a certain reason that it has to be a round shape? Or it's just the easiest way?
You can have any shape that you want. So what you can do is you can actually flatten it out. So you can flatten it out on a plate, and then you can cut squares of it. You can cut squares from it.
So it's not like there is different kind of molds that you can put it in and put in different shape to.
Yeah, it's your choice. I mean, one is free to, so you can form diamonds out of this, you can form squares out of this. There's all kinds of, things that you can do. It's completely your own choice. It's just that, this particular shape is sort of, I don't know. So ladoos are usually meant to be spherical balls. So that's the only reason. I'm going to make one more.
Is there any certain drink that you drink with this dessert?
Not really. Not that I know of specifically. Let's make one in the center. There you have 5 ladoos. All right, so you have these 5 ladoos with you. I still have some more. All right, so that's the recipe here. Feel free to ask us any questions that you may have. This is the suji ladoo.
Thank you so much, and thank you for showing this, demonstrating this to everyone today, and it's really enjoyable process, and I hope there will be more conversation happening in our conversation room later on. But thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for Susmit and everyone preparing this presentation and the cooking demo and everything. There are a lot of things happening today, but we make it rolling and rolling well. So thank you so much for everyone. But hold a second, because we still have our breakout room opening right now. So I'm gonna open the breakout room and I will make it as self-selected, which means that if you have updated Zoom version, you should be able to choose which one you're gonna join. And let me know if you can or cannot, and stay in the main room if you need any help.